What is going on, Big Blue Nation? We have survived another week. We are in full training camp mode, and joining Selena and I is Mr. Vic Evans, Coach Evans from 1027 The Game. Selena, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's the dead season between sports is ending, and I am ecstatic. I can't
We
wait to
got
football my
season.
TV
Coach,
again.
Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's the summer's always the tough months for us here at the 1027. We can only talk Major League Baseball for so long, and it's turning the page, and we're
Facts.
getting ready for high school football and college football and in the NFL. So I couldn't be more happier.
So you say you have an off season, but you really don't. I've seen you all. You have to cover. Shoot, you even play close to my heart and cover some NASCAR. So I love that. But then high school football starts so early. Compared to college and the pros, and you just had like 17 straight hours of media day coverage for high school ball. So you've been pretty busy. But we talked about that before the show last couple of weeks, and I watched some of your stream. That's a pretty cool thing y'all do for those high school athletes, man. Like that might be the one time they're out there representing their school at a media day, as big man on campus. So that's pretty cool that you give them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. We're lucky enough. We cover 18 high schools in our ESPN Owensboro coverage area. And so we invite all 18 high school coaches in. They get to bring 4 players with them. I think we started at 9 a.m. We got done about 3:30. So you're talking about 6.5 hours. We live stream it, and it also plays live on 1027 The Game. So their parents, their grandparents, whether they're at work, in the car, at home, whatever, we've got them covered where they can listen to it. And then we do that for football. We also do it for boys and girls basketball. We have that media day always on election day. It's always days we can find where schools are out. And then we also do it for baseball, softball on President's Day. So this is our third year, or going into our fourth. It was our third football, going into our fourth basketball. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger every year. And so I really enjoy it. And you get a little bit of the personality of the athletes that you cover all year long. And then you get some really cool stories. And then you find, I can remember a couple of years ago, we had a young basketball player that came in, and you could just tell as you're starting the interview, like she was so nervous. And in the process of the 20-minute interview, you saw him blossom like a flower and just like take over the whole interview. And it was so awesome. So that's what we really love doing, kind of giving the ESPN treatment to high school sports. Where I'm at in Owensboro, we don't have professional sports. We're 2 hours from Louisville, 2.5 hours from UK, a little over an hour from Western, but UK still dominates here. So high school sports are king here in Western Kentucky. And so we try to put as big a spotlight as we can. We're going to broadcast 300 high school sporting events this upcoming season.
That's a lot.
Wow.
And Vic, don't you have to plan all of those? Like, isn't that kind of what one of your roles are at the radio station?
Oh, without a doubt. We have 8 radio stations, so it goes into a lot with not only our coverage of high school. We're a UK affiliate, a Louisville affiliate, a Western affiliate, NASCAR, IndyCar, NFL. We've got all kinds of NFL. So yeah, a lot of planning goes in of trying to take the pieces of the puzzle and make sure that everything that we're supposed to go on the air goes on the air. But that's why they pay me like, pennies and peanuts, and that's what I do.
No,
We've
man,
talked about how busy you are.
Yeah, stay on the grind all the time. And no, we appreciate you coming on. It is also SummerSlam weekend. I don't know, Vic, if you're a WWE fan. Celine knows how I feel about it. I'm never going to grow up. I got my NWO shirt. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Today, but it's been a good Saturday. Watching some wrestling and beautiful weather out here in California. But football's in the air, and it's exciting because we had NFL football this week. Thursday, NFL helmets on a field. Now it was ugly. Trey Lance looked good. Football wasn't very great. But that being said, it was still way better than what we saw during the XFL or during the spring. So we're back. We are back, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you got the training camps are going full bore now. You get into, the Hall of Fame game is always like a week and a half before any other. But it's always nice to turn on your TV. And I don't know if you're ever really, really ready for Chris Collinsworth to be back on your TV. But that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, then, college football, the training camps are going full bore. And we're just a few weeks, 4 weeks away from that. So this is – and then for me, Major League Baseball, this is where it really counts. You get past the trade deadline. Now you're down the home stretch. So always that first part of fall where they all kind of converge over one is by far and away the best time for sports fans.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you a baseball guy like through and through, or you just cover it? Because I'm not, and I see a lot of Big Blue Nation, obviously Cincinnati fans, and the ebbs and flows that Cincinnati Reds fans go throughout the season of it starts off and we are all the way back. Like Dela Cruz is rocking it, and then all of a sudden you just see it's like a slowly decline, and then by this time it
rough,
seems like
it's rough.
it seems like everybody's like, this team
hard.
Sucks, and I don't really care, so I'm just in the background kind of enjoying it.
No, I'm 100% baseball first. That's what I played in high school. That's what I played in college. That's where the Coach Evan comes from. I coached some form of baseball for 32 years, from little league to high school to college. And so I'm always will be a baseball first guy. And my Yankees are awful, and we go out and trade for a bunch of guys and they couldn't get me out. So that's just the way it works.
Selena, what were you getting ready to say? Are you a Reds fan? I'm learning this new.
Yeah, I would say so. I live, 45 minutes south of the Reds. So, I mean, it's kind of like a by proxy thing. But yeah, it's rough. It's incompetent ownership and GM makes it very hard to continuously support the team. They refuse to pay people because they say they're small market, and they refuse, and they're, whatever. That could be a whole episode by itself, and I'm sure we can find people that chime in and agree with me or whatever. But it is rough being a Reds fan. Yes.
Didn't you just describe Cincinnati professional sports like an entire heartbeat, pathetic ownership?
You're right, I did. You're right. I summed it all up in one.
Whether it be the Reds or the Bengals.
Yeah, basically.
I was just kidding. So I was gonna close with NFL training camp, but you brought it up, and now we're talking about Cincinnati, so we might as well just roll into it now. So the two fan bases, I'm a Dolphins fan, so it doesn't affect me too much. I already know we're gonna suck, so this season is just kind of we're just gonna see what happens next year. with maybe a new quarterback and a new head coach. But like Cincinnati, the Bengals or the Bungles, and the Tennessee Titans, right? Those are the two fan bases. Maybe some Colts fans out there, but Cincinnati can't get through an offseason without like just some sort of drama, and I think it directly plays into why they start off their season so slow. And whether it's Joe Burrow or they were able to figure out the contracts with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase this offseason, but they kind of built their team like a fantasy football team and not really thinking about it collectively. And now we're in the Trey Hendrickson holdout / now hold in. You got the Sack King who you can't figure out how to get signed in a defense that is usually suspect. So I don't know how you feel about that, Coach, and how they're handling that. And to be fair, it does seem like Trey Hendrickson kind of, I don't know, it seems like he caved. He was real loud in the offseason. All of a sudden now he showed up without really a deal. But how do you think that ends up working out going into the season for the Bengals?
Well, let's be honest. He shows up because his wife looks at him and says, "Hey, go sit into camp and save us $50,000 a day." Like
that's a day. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can sit at home and hang out, but the wife sooner or later is going to look at you and go, "Hey, you're hurt. Go sit in the camp. Don't practice. Let's save us $50,000 a day." I mean, I think right now, I think that's put this as a tweet out. The two worst front office run football teams in the NFL are the Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Jerry's got dementia. He won't hire GM, and you can see what the Cowboys have done. And there's no reason not to pay Hendricks. I mean, the problem you had is, defensively has been a problem. He's your best defensive player. You went out and you got a brand new defensive coordinator who I love and I think would do a good job there, but you got to give him pieces. Your number one draft pick, because of some stuff you try to put in the contract, set out for all the way up until training camp, and you finally worked that out. Like, the problem is in the NFL, you got to take care of the people who are your best players, and that's in every way, shape, or form, and the Bengals just don't do it. Like, what should be easy, like Burrow, or the same thing with T. Higgins and Jamar, those should be easy, and they make it hard, and that's just, in the long run, guys don't want to play for them.
Yeah, you got to take care of your own, right? And he played last year, and expecting the contract. They, according to him, it was like, hey, I already kind of talked to the front office. They, if I have a good year, we're going to get paid, and I think they want to give him some guaranteed money, but they just want to do a 1-year extension there. And there's some disagreement from, if you listen to the Shefties and the of the world. They don't want to give him a 3-4 year contract because he is 31, something like that. So maybe he is on the back end of his prime. But I think what you got to look at there for ownership is maybe you're overpaying him at this point in his career because he's on a downhill slide, even though he had a career year last year. But if you take care of your own, now you're starting to build things for like other free agents to come in. Maybe you don't have a rookie come in and hold out for weeks and weeks on end because of a minor contract dispute. The outside world, NFL world, sees this and they're like, why would I want to go play for that organization if they're not going to take care of me? That's how I see it. I don't know how you feel it, Selena.
Yep. No, I mean, I would agree. If I was a free agent, I wouldn't. Why would I be like, hey, let's go for the Bengals? You know what I mean? Like, they're constantly screwing around with their best players year after year after year. Nothing's ever, makes sense to Bengals fans, I guess. They're always like, we might sign and we might not. And it's like, why wouldn't you sign this person? Right? Like Jamar Chase, why wouldn't you sign them? T. Higgins, why wouldn't you do that? Like, that's no brainers. And they're like, we'll think about it. We'll discuss this. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and like with Hendricks, it all comes down to, it's not so much the years of the contract, it has to do with guaranteed money. The NFL is so different because they can make those contracts be whatever they want, and everything's salary cap manipulation, where if there's what they've offered him is no guaranteed money beyond this year. So I don't care if he signs for $150 million. If it's not guaranteed, he ends up getting cut. He never sees much of it. I know there's some salary cap things, but that's what he wants. Throw in some guaranteed money for next year too. Give him a 3-year deal. Then when he, if he doesn't live up to the contract, then you get rid of him. He becomes a cap cut, and that's just the way it works. But it's all about the guaranteed money beyond this year. That's all he's wanting.
Yeah, I think they offer him a big incentive-based contract where, hey, if you have another big year, you make a bunch of money. But yeah, I mean, you got to take the bite at the apple when you can. he's played, probably underpaid. You got T.J. Watt, $41 million a year. Setting the market. $40 million in Cleveland right now, right?
Yeah, Myles
and then
Garrett.
I think and then the Lions is getting what's his? I'm blanking on his name. I think he's getting like 38, 39 a year. So like that market has exploded. But I was surprised. I think the fan base would have been okay with and understood if they didn't re-sign T. Higgins. They seem like they have some younger secondary options in the wide receiver room that they could have gotten away with, through the draft. Maybe get a lesser version of an outside type guy to pair with Jamar Chase if you let T. Higgins go. I know the fan base enjoyed that they signed both those guys. But now it seems like they're pinching pennies to try to figure out how they're going to manipulate that salary cap. Even though, like you mentioned, Coach, the good franchises know how to do that, right? The good franchises are able to figure out how to pay guys and work it out on the contract with voidable years on the back end so that they can spread that guaranteed money out over, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, you take care of your guys when it's your window, and then you're gonna have to eat it for a couple of years whenever that window closes. And that's the problem with the Bengals. The Bengals are wasting the prime years of Joe Burrow. I mean,
yeah,
I really cannot stand Zach Taylor. That to me is he may be one of the bottom 5 NFL coaches in all of football. It was a terrible hire to start with. Burrow saved his rear end by taking him to the Super Bowl. But you see what happens, and now you're wasting prime for Joe Burrow years, and only the Bengals could have a guy like Joe Burrow and miss the playoffs half the time he plays for them. It's a poorly run franchise, poorly coached franchise, and they should be firing Zach. I mean, Zach Taylor's about as bad as Mark Stoops. That's how much I feel about Zach Taylor.
Damn.
My goodness.
All right.
My goodness. You know what? This is why I think this is why Coach is a professional, because he gives us like the perfect way to segue into, Mark Stoops and Kentucky football.
Okay.
Look at that. And then,
bam,
there he is right there. There's Coach himself. There's Coach himself.
Thing.
Shout out Dylan Ballard for the picture. Yeah, he's looking good. Ozempic Stoops out there at Media Day.
Holy shit.
So I watched the interview that was out there from Fan Day, and Coach Stoops was talking about how the team looked more disciplined. Media members were interviewing him and saying, hey, this team looks further along than we did last year or years before when we were maybe on paper had better teams. Are y'all buying it is my question. Are you buying, I wouldn't so much call it hype, but are you buying the fact that maybe the culture has shifted and the product we're going to get on the field is going to be better, even though maybe we're unsure if the talent is as good?
I will not buy the discipline factor until they prove that on the field. Because year after year after year, there are entirely too many stupid penalties for this team. I mean, and it's dumb ones too. So I will not buy that until it's proven on the field. Now, I will say something that if the media people, which are typically pretty honest about how the team looks, especially a football team, if they're saying they look better, then hey, maybe things have changed. That's great. That's cool. As far as discipline goes, no, I'm not buying that until it's on the field.
Well, I agree with Selena in that aspect, because you can look back even when they were going to bowl games and winning. UK has never been one of the most disciplined teams since Stoops has been there. I mean, you got guys on the sideline picking up trash cans and hitting with fans. You heard the reports, but we overlooked it because they win 7 games and they win 10 games one year. I don't count the other 10 win year, because if we're not going to count Louisville's national championship banner, we can't count our 10 football wins. So it's always been a team that played on the edge and a little undisciplined. We just kind of overlooked it when we were winning and going to bowl games. So I'm like Selena. I want to see it. I want to see the product on the field. I'm hopeful. I would love for them to win 6, 7, 8 games. I'm not. I'm betting the under. If you really want, they know what the over and under is out there. It's like 4.5. I'm hammering the
4.5,
under
yeah.
pretty hard. So that's. But I hope I'm wrong.
Coach!
I hope I lose money.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Okay, so I don't know if you saw the show last time. I watched SEC Media Days and Stoops. He hooked me, man. He said all the right things. I was like, now I'm not going to go crazy 10-2 like I did last year. I talked about this. Like, I'm not going to go be completely irrational like I have been in the past. I'm not saying I won't get there. I'm just not there yet.
Oh, you'll get there. You'll get there.
You'll get there. I saw the pain in your
start of the season. Randall's will be all over Twitter. Hey, 10-2, book it right here. I'll stand on it. Start of the season. That's where I'm put. And then he's gonna like roll that shit back. I'm like, hold up, y'all. I spoke too soon. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Toledo. They're going to be going 10-1, 11-1. I know how Rando gets. They sneak out a win against Toledo, and it's going to be like, guys, I told you. Here we go.
Yep. But I think at 4.5, I think we can get the over. I could see us getting 6 wins. And time will tell. Time will tell.
Against
I think,
Rando.
Well, we went through it.
No, but you didn't pick 6. You didn't pick 6 wins when we went through it, though, did you?
Well, I was silent. I refused to
For
answer
2
the
of them,
Tennessee
you were
and
silent.
Louisville games. Yes.
Yes, but
so we'll we can go through it maybe.
6?
Well, we'll go through it before we get done with Kentucky football.
Perfect. I want to see this again.
I'll pull it up and we can go through it. We can get coaches' input on this too. So I think obviously Stoops, the seat is hot, right? I know even after this year we're still going to owe him a bunch of money. But if he does have Coach, I think last time we did this game that Selena wanted to play and it brought so much pain to me. I think you typed in 3-9 was our the record you picked. So like if we have that year, I just don't know how he comes back. I think the fan base will completely shut him out. Especially when we're already getting in Twitter arguments about how this revenue share money is going to go. Like, is the fan base really going to be okay with the majority of money going to a football team that has back-to-back terrible seasons? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
No.
There was a lot of.
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
the fan base would be happy. I think I think the fan base is already fractured. My point is, if you look at the contract, he gets his money in 6 months. You got to pay him whatever you owe him in 6 months. So unless you can work out a deal, my thing is you wouldn't fire him last year when you owed him, I don't know, what was it, $39 million or $40 million. Do you really see him making the move when what's the difference of paying somebody $40 million or $41 million and paying somebody $32 or $33 million? Like if you're going to do it, if you're going to go one more year, you should have done it last year. That's why I've always said that I've come to the conclusion that the administration in UK in itself is not serious about SEC football. Because if this was Texas A&M, if this was Auburn, if this was Alabama, if this was LSU, this was Tennessee, this is a lot of different places, they're pulling that trigger already. So, no, I think he should be on the hot seat, but I'm not convinced, even if he goes 3-9, that UK ponies up the money and gets rid of him. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope maybe he wins 7. I think the worst thing you could do is you win 5 or 6, because what have you really done? I mean, you're almost forced to bring him back another year, but is winning in this new age of going now probably going to go to 16 teams in the playoffs, in the playoff picture, is winning 5 games to 7 games and going to some crappy bowl that means absolutely nothing in the new world of the college football playoffs. Is that really what we're going to settle for at UK? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But do you buy, did you believe that there were some reports out there that the money was there if Mitch or whoever wanted to pull the trigger, the 40-ish million was there for the buyout? Do you believe that, or do you believe that was just fodder, punditry, like fans hoping that they could stir up some shit because they wanted him? A lot of people wanted him gone last year.
I don't believe it was there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would like to hope it was there. There's no way for me to really know that. And I do feel like Mitch is a guy that is going to have a longer leash with people that he likes. and say what you want, where you look at the Mitch and the Cal, relationship was completely and totally strained. And as soon as Cal did something that he wasn't supposed to do based on his contract, it was like, sorry, you saved me, having to pay you, tens of millions and millions of dollars. But I think he truly, truly gets along with Stoops and likes Stoops. I think even if it was there, he was going to give Stoops another year. I'm just afraid it may be 2 or 3 years before they decide that, hey, we'll pay out $18 million before we'll pay out $32 million. That's what I'm worried about.
I can see that. Vic, 100%.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what I was talking about last week, though, right? Where I said I think UK would be okay with the football team being me versus the basketball team, right? So they would ride out the Stoops until they had, until it was much lower to pay it out than versus paying it out like, this year if we had to, whatever. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think if I'm trying to recall last year, I think it was there was a, I don't want to call it, I'll say report very loosely of, hey, there was a conversation of like, hey, if you want me gone, I'll compromise, but I'm not taking anything less than 30 M's, right? So like I think there was a compromise in there. But yeah, it's obviously still a bunch of money. And I've come out and said that, I Stoops, I hope leaves here on a high note, because he deserves to. Like he's the best coach we've had in Kentucky football history, right? The sustained success. The reason why we're getting so pissed off at him for being bad last year was because his team is supposed to be great, and he's a product of his own success, right? And I want him to go out on a high note. I could see him. Like I think you're right, Coach. If he finishes 5 and 6 wins, like I don't know what he does. If he has a terrible season, I could see him being like, hey, it's time for me to go. They compromise on some money. If he has some miracle 9-10 win season, I could see him right off into the sunset going, hey, I've taken this program as far as I can, and I'm moving on, right? Because can he really sustain that success right now in this revenue share environment? I don't think you can have a great football team and great basketball team. I think you're going to have to, from year to year, kind of pick. I think the school's going to have to do that, or the GMs between the two programs will have to figure that out. That's just kind of what I believe in the new NIL era. But I could see this regardless of it being, whether it's a terrible year or a very good year, being his last one at Kentucky. Maybe I'm wrong. If he has a big season, maybe he's here for a couple more years. But that's just kind of where I'm at with mindset. He's been here for a long time, and maybe the end of the road is near.
Possibly. I will say, and just to get back talking about you that to choose one or the other, until we know exactly how the settlement, because you have the problem is in NIL right now, you've got like 14 different entities coming up, and it's still the wild, wild west. Congress is trying to pass a bill. President Trump just had an executive order. You have the House settlement. As long as they're going to allow, having NIL outside of revenue sharing, then I think you're going to be able to do both, because I think you can split the revenue sharing from years. There are years you can use your collective's money and pay football a little more. And then there's years you can do revenue sharing and give a bigger chunk. One thing Mitch did say at Media Day, he talked about they weren't ever, that it would change. The revenue sharing would change. And then they would also tie in with the collective. And like 1 year, football may get this percentage, but the next year there may be even more collective money come in. So football's percentage lowers. And so it's always a moving target. So I think until we get a definitive answer of what NIL is going to be and how it's going to be, it's still the wild, wild west. And the one thing is on the NIL collective side, UK basketball is always going to be fine. So, I do think you can have both. It's just going to be a lot of work. And I think just like, and I've said this on our show a lot, one of the great things, and I wish Stoops would do this. This is where I think Stoops missed the boat. Like Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, they went out and hired as their general manager. These are guys that were, they got the Detroit Lions guy who was the head of their player personnel in their analytics department. And he went out and hired a bunch of NFL guys who've been working with salary caps for years and years and years. Yep. And our GM is Eddie Gran, who's a high school, he's a college coach. Like, go get you math whizzes. Look what baseball's doing. And with, I know everybody hates the analytical department and, Moneyball ruined the game. But that's what you're going to have to do in college, because you're going to have basically some sort of money salary cap wise, no matter what it is. And you got to know how much we pay for a left tackle, how much do we pay for a wide receiver, what positions get us more points and more wins. And so go out. Stoops should have gone out and hired front office people in the NFL to come and be the general manager, not Eddie Grant. That's the problem I have with UK right now. Like, it's a brand new world, and you got to adapt to it.
Yeah, I agree.
No, yeah, you're 100% correct. I think so. I brought this picture up here. I think Stoops on the hot seat. But I was getting to these two dudes right here. They got to be able to figure it out for him. Bush Hamdan and Eric Wolford got to be able to figure this thing out, because if the OC has a year like he did last year, where it just looked like the offense was inept. I had the stat written down. We actually talked about it on one of our shows at the end of the season, how many red zone or within the 5-yard line plays we had where resulted in like no points. At times we went for it on fourth down because we're right there. We couldn't get it done. It was absolutely terrible. And the offense or the offensive line just could not sync up. Our run blocking schemes were there at times. But when it came to pass protection, Brock was just like,
there was none.
He just didn't have any time. And you could tell that, by the time we got into the middle of the season, even if they were starting to figure it out a little bit, his eye level was down, right? He was not looking down the field. He couldn't get through progressions. He just didn't trust the line. And then he gets hurt, and then it's all downhill from there. So these two dudes right here, I think, got to be able to figure it out. A buddy of mine, former coach at Jacksonville University, offensive line coach at IMG, knows Eric Wolford very well. He has faith in him. He's told me multiple times, like, hey, this dude is good. And Selena, if you remember when we talked about him, when he came back from Alabama and there was the kind of the rocky return, we looked back at his South Carolina stats and what he did over his time there. Like, it is impressive. Like, pass pro, sack decreasing, offensive line, run blocking, average yards per attempt were all great. So, like, I think he's got it there, but he's had a whole offseason hit the portal, get his guys and not take the dudes that were kind of left over for him to come in. So, like, I think Bush Hamdan has to be able to figure it out with Zach, and Eric Wolford, Coach Wolford's got to be able to figure it out with the offensive line. Because in the trenches is where they're going to win this game. I think we all believe Brad White's the guy. The defense is always good. He's always able to figure it out with his personnel. Can these two dudes on the screen come together and figure out how to keep the offense at least 21 points a game? Like, I don't think that's a lot to ask for, 21 points a game, and maybe we're in each one of these things, and who knows what happens.
The only thing about Brad White is I wish he would stop lining up on defense and giving wideouts 10+ yards. Like against Clemson, that cost us that game.
You don't need to bring up I know you're going to bring up the Clemson game. That still gives me heartburn.
Just stop doing that. And I don't care. It's fine otherwise. I don't. So how long was Wolford gone from UK? Was it only a season?
Just a season, yeah.
He came back. Some of the players that here's my thing then. Some of the players that he had last year were still his guys then, right?
Yeah, but it was, and Coach, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, there were so many injuries. There were mixed match. I mean, Cox came back to center after playing, I think, guard previously the year before.
Guard, I think, yeah.
You are correct. I will say that, we'll see. I'm not a Wolford fan.
Okay.
You leave in the middle of the night, you stab your buddy in the back, you go down to Alabama. It's the worst offensive line in Alabama in the Saban era, other than season 1 at Alabama. Yep. And then you scurry back here to Kentucky. Here's the problem I had, and it goes back to Stoops. Like, it was so bad last year and you could see it the last 2 years sliding. And then you don't make any changes in your staff. Like, you bring everybody back and we're like going to run it back again. So they got to hope it gets, the target is on Hamdan and Wolford. And then Hamdan even put a bigger target on both of their backs when he goes to the luncheon for Louisville and Kentucky. He's like, this is the best O-line we've ever had here at Kentucky. Well, they better hope it is. Like, this could turn out to be like the worst thing you could say, because if they go up and give up 4 or 5 sacks against Toledo in game 1, like the fan base is going to revolt. Like I just didn't understand coming. I like being a little braggadocious, but like read the room too.
Well, that's just wild considering, we had the big blue wall under Charlemagne, right? Like that's the audacity is crazy with that statement. Because the big blue wall won awards for a reason. Like that's all right, Amden. All right.
But yeah, it was Rando. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I know I sound like I'm like the worst UK fan. Like in full transparency, I'm a Notre Dame guy. I didn't realize anybody else played college football until I was 15 years old. I thought it was just Notre Dame. I grew up in this big Catholic family, and it was God, family, and Notre Dame football. And on Saturday afternoons, all of a sudden, God and family took a back seat. That's that's the family I grew up in. But UK is the other team I cheer for. But let me ask you this: what happens? Toledo last year, they're picked to win the MAC. Okay, they did beat Mississippi State last year. What happens to UK football if Toledo comes in here and wins a 27-21 game and gets like 5 sacks and UK starts 0-1? Where are we?
We're in the shitter, Nick.
I don't even want to imagine. I don't even want to imagine that being oh my goodness. I don't.
Rando, and I put you in a bad place mentally. Vic just blew your mind and ruined your whole day.
Yeah. And that would be something because Chip isn't Chip is at Toledo right now, right? Chip Trainum, I think, is the starting running back for Toledo, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he went. Yeah. Yeah. Coach, I don't know. If that's true, I'm coming up.
But it's not outside the realm of possibility that you can get upset.
No, I mean, we're not too far removed from Devin Leary having to save us against EKU. And I'm from Richmond, and I love my Colonels, but like I'm going against them on that. We're not far removed from watching something like that happen. So I don't know.
I wish the games were reversed because you do have Toledo who won 8 games last year, maybe even when they're had a winning record last year, picked to win the MAC. Even UK, you come in, you basically have 4 new starting on the offensive line. You got a new quarterback. Like everybody on the offense is kind of new. And in college football, you don't get that, 3 preseason games to kind of work out the kinks. You start and it's real. So, I mean, there could be a day where you got the new quarterback comes out, the offensive line hasn't gelled, and you struggle, and Toledo, who's returning a lot of guys from last year's team, takes advantage of it. I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility.
No, it's not. And if you remember last year, the rain out and whatnot, we only played 3 quarters, but and we kind of excused it because we thought the team was going to be very good. But we didn't look great in the opener last year. Some turnovers. It was sloppy, but again, we just it was a unique thing. Like the weather was. So it definitely is possible. Like Toledo is going to they have a lot of returners. I don't even want to. I don't know. If we come out 0-1,
just ruined his Saturday night. Like he's done.
Yeah,
he's done.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, the fan base will. I mean, they'll lose it. I mean, there will be. I mean, the Fire Stoop stuff will be so loud. They will not want him to walk back into the building on Monday. Like it just can't happen because there are people like me who have been frustrated most of last year and throughout the whole offseason and talked about, I don't care. I want to see it to believe it, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, football's in the air. We're smelling it. We're seeing these videos, and we're like, all right, our guy's back. Let's go Stoops. We're buying into it. Let's go. The motivated Mark Stoops thing, we're like using that in a way to poke fun at it, but really we're doing it because we're excited. If we come out 0-1, I don't know. I think Selena was right. Like the rails will fall off the track, and I don't think we can. That's a ship that's going to right itself.
You can't write
that's
that.
That's going to be the rest of the SEC. It's going to be the rest of the SEC is going to be watching the train wreck for the next 11 games and just
and we'll have to ban the football talk for a whole offseason again, like we did this year, because we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The only good thing
about football.
The only good thing is alcohol sales will go through the roof at Kroger Field. That's the only good thing.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get down there to the Florida game, so I guess the price of my tickets will drop a bunch at that point because right now they're still pretty high. So that will be That will be one advantage. It's like when I bought the tickets last year for the Georgia game, and then we lost to South Carolina, and they were like 75% the price. I was like, damn it, I should have waited. But yeah, Coach, I didn't even want to think. You're right. It's a possibility. I don't even want to think about it. But how do you feel about this dude, Zach? I think I was surprised that we talk about all this Stoops talk. That this was the dude that he wanted to put basically like his Kentucky life on the line for at first. But now that I'm watching him kind of interact with the fan base, answering questions, seeing some of the stuff on the internet, I still have some questions, but I'm starting to see why he was once upon a time an SEC quarterback who beat Alabama. He seems like he's got some tools. How do you feel about his game, and can he be the dude to elevate us higher than what some of us are expecting?
Oh, I think so. As long as the AARP card doesn't run out, I think we're okay. Or if he doesn't break a hip.
Hey,
that
is the
advantage. You look back at college football, guys like he had what was it the guys that have played either professional sport. You had some quarterbacks who played minor league baseball, then came back and played. Weldon that ended up getting drafted by the Browns, and so I think his age actually gives him a maturity about himself, and I do like his game of being able to move around. I think UK has to have. I think the one thing I love Vandegrift last year, but being a guy that was more of a pocket passer, I don't think works well at UK. I think you have to be able to have a dual type guy. You look at Notre Dame last year and Riley Logan and what he did. With his experience, these guys that are older that have been through the ringers, they give you a calming aspect. So I do think that will be a little bit of, I'm sorry, Riley Leonard. I do think this is, his age and his maturity gives UK a benefit that I don't think he's going to panic or freak out. You played at some of the smallest schools and some of the biggest schools in the country. So you've seen it all. So I do think that's an advantage. We just got to hope he doesn't break a hip is all I'm wondering about.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, he's still young and spry. So have you all seen this? Look at that ball. That's what I'm talking about. And he leaves the pocket a little bit early. I'm assuming y'all can hear me because it's a little bit loud. Mm-hmm. But he leaves the pocket a little bit early. Watch this play here. And you can see he can step up in it. He leaves it early. But watch this throw. Off the back foot. And a dot for Willie. An absolute dot. I mean, I'm telling you what, like I said, tell him, hey, look, dog, you can step up in that thing. I don't know really what his route was. But good grief, give me that all day. And if we're going to start using the tight ends, and the athleticism that we have there, I'm all about it. But just watching stuff like that.
Don't give me this tight end talk. We've been hearing about our tight ends for 15 years now, since Stoops has been here, and we've never thrown to the greatest. Listen, say what you want to say about Vince Morrow, and you can say bad or good or whatever, indifferent when he goes to Louisville, whatever. But the guy had to be able to recruit because he would go out and get 4-star tight ends that we never used, ever. So
that's my thing, Vic.
Yes, and I come from a place that's tight end like with Michael Mayer and all the great tight ends, and they use them. They're our leading receivers. Yeah. Just once for a year, there is no reason our tight ends shouldn't average for anywhere from 4 to 8 catches a year. They have mismatches. Now, some of that is because the offensive line was so bad, you had to use them as the 6th and 7th offensive lineman. But until we actually hit a tight end, don't talk about tight ends and how good a recruiting is and how good of athletes they are, because we never use them, ever.
I knew you were going to say it.
That. Ren did not.
I knew you were going to say it.
Please that.
Check it out. This dude is going to change your mind. It's 2 minutes.
He'll make a great offensive
I watched this.
Let's go. Full speed reps, man. Full speed reps, or it's not working.
Look at this.
Full speed reps. Let's go.
Remember,
I'm playing with speed from here to the tackle, then tempo down. Boom, inside out. There you go. Go with that, cat.
Watch him talk about. He started talking about how running routes, leaning on somebody.
Nice and flat. You guys with me? Nice and flat.
He's teaching these dudes how to.
Boom. Angle of the board's just very slight. Any type of in cut. What are we running today? Yeah, we're running some version of a stick.
Yeah.
We're running some version of drive. Everybody with me? Lean. All right, once I spray, lean. All right, he's pushing me down. I gotta lean, hold my line. He's gonna try and press me down inside to the post player.
Nope,
Hold
we ain't
my
doing
line.
that.
Now I'm gonna have
And then,
all this space
get off him.
to work back negative.
And he's like,
Everybody
and he's
got
gonna
it?
tell you, don't push
Lean
off.
on
I
it.
just need a little chicken wing. Just
Snap
need
my
chicken
eyes,
wing. Bam.
little vertical push. Good,
Yep.
that's it. Ready. Hut. Lean on
Yeah,
it.
but doesn't this finally fall like and I love it.
Keep it tight.
But
I
doesn't
don't
this
want
fall on
OPI. I don't
Stoops?
want
Like
to get
Eddie
extended.
Gran, when he
Hut.
came from
Bang.
Cincinnati to
Nice
UK to Stoops, his tight ends were averaging like 80 catches a year. Like, and then all of a sudden he gets to UK, and so I'm not so sure this is an offensive coordinator or a tight end coach problem. I think this goes back to a Mark Stoops problem. He sees the offensive lineman as just an extension of the offense, or tight end as an extension of offensive lineman. Like, go back and look at when Eddie Gran was at Cincinnati, go back and look at his tight end stats. They were off the charts. But not when he was at UK.
But like, if you get a dude like Willie Rodriguez, he's not gonna maybe Josh Caddis can do that, right? Josh regressed last year in his run blocking schemes and in his pass pro, but like maybe he's a dude who can be a blocker. That's not Willie Rodriguez. That's an athlete you got to get in space. And I agree with you, Coach. Like, that was so frustrating. Selena can attest. I was so high on Jordan Dingle last year. Like, that dude, his frame and his athleticism. Now, he had some drops. There were times where he was given a chance and he couldn't secure the ball. But the middle of the field was just never used. And I don't know. Maybe you're right that is a Stoops thing. I was so frustrated at Bush Hannum last year because it just like between the hashes was never used, even though it was wide open most of the year. And you have a big body like that, and the tight end, it's your Antonio Gates just got into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Like, that's a red zone threat that you can have. A big body guy who can just box out, you throw him the ball, go get it. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, like these guys, the tight end is such a big difference on the offensive side of the ball, especially in the red zone. So if we don't start using this year, where you got a tight end coach who seems like he's got it figured out, I don't know how good of an X's and O's coach Vince Mora was. Haven't heard great things, but I'm not in the locker room. I think he was a great recruiter and people loved him, but was he truly a coach on the field, can figure it out, X's and O's, elevate a tight end? Or was he someone who could just bring in good talent, and then that was kind of the end of it? But time will tell. But yeah, the tight end has to be used because they are some of the best athletes we have on the field. And you see Willie making catches like this, and Zach extending plays. And if they can get on the same page, and it seems like from what I'm hearing in training camp, there's a lot of improv routes happening. I don't know if that's good or bad. Again, is that because the O-line isn't assessing it, or is that just because how Zach's playing and Bush is kind of figuring them out? I don't know. Time will tell. But that right there, watching the coach, watching Willie do the thing, again, I'm finding ways just to get fully bought in here. That's a throw a lot of dudes can't make, Coach. You got to at least admit that was a dot.
It is. Yeah, I mean, the kid's got a great arm. But as I always say, like in the NFL draft, I really don't worry about what I see when it's, 7-on-7 or what we do in, T-shirts and shorts, because that's not how the game is played. Like,
yeah, the Zach Wilson back shoulder throw.
Right. There's not many D1 starting quarterbacks in the Power 4 that if you show up at practice, you don't go, you know what, that guy can play. Look at that throw. They all do that.
I mean, we did for Brock for BG last year. We were super high on him watching the practice stuff last year. And it
wasn't all on him, though. I mean, the offensive line was so bad he had to retire. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, us three could have blocked as well as UK's offensive line last year. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they win 7-8 games. I hope they go to the playoffs. I mean, I put like $3 on that because I got 7,000 to 1. So there you go. But I've gotten to the point with Stoops where I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to see the leadership. And I know he did a good job at Media Day, but I also don't want to have him like when he goes into Media Day, he talks about how hard it is. Dude, you're in the SEC. You're making $9.5 million. It's supposed to be hard. Like, I don't hear Nick Saban talking about how hard this is. Like, if you don't want to, if you think it's too hard for you, then go make $3 million and coach in the MAC.
Yep.
But don't take the money and then complain about how hard it is. I just hate things like that.
I'm glad Coach are on the same page. I don't believe anything until I see it. Like, talk about on the last episode. Like, he makes a ton of money. Stop complaining and put the product on the field. Fun fact: I'm pretty sure Notre Dame's mayor and Rodriguez both went to CUFCAS out of North Kentucky, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, he was a star, first team All-American in 2 years.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah, I think if we're gonna be surprising this year, and I've referenced Vandy last year, like I that's our hope, and it sounds gross. I've said it multiple times, like, but it's not out of the possibility. Just like losing to Toledo isn't out of the possibility. It's not out of the possibility that we shock folks, and Zach is the next Pavia from Vandy, and he does things, and we beat teams we shouldn't. You know, Tennessee got some problems right now. They don't know how their quarterback is going to be with Nico going. Boo Carter shows up. The chat is on there. If and you know, so is there locker room problems or not? I don't really know. So like, would it be surprising if we beat Tennessee at home? I think a lot of people right now would say yes, but who knows how good Tennessee's going to be? You know,
doesn't matter. Listen, I don't care how bad Tennessee is. Doesn't matter. How many times we beat Tennessee?
Say it, Coach.
Years. I understand. No, it's very obvious. I mean, we could be a lot better than we were last year and still be like 4-8. Like, I don't care. Don't like Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Georgia. I don't care how. Like, we could play really good and still lose all of it. Tennessee could play like 11 high schoolers, and for somehow they end up beating us. So until we beat Tennessee consistently, you can't pick Kentucky against Tennessee ever.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, and I will.
On our show, we did the top 3 worst fan bases of all time. I had Tennessee number 1, but I will pick Tennessee over Kentucky because like we've beat them, twice in 40 years? Come on now.
All right, question from the chat from Braden. If Stitch is gone for whatever reason, would you take Nick Saban for 2 years or Summerall for 5 years?
I'm probably taking Summerall for 5.
See, that was my first thought because I don't know if Nick could turn it around in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he could flip it enough in 2 years to get where we want it to be, and then what happens after those 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think.
But
that's
also Nick Saban,
task.
so like.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I mean, yeah, that's tough. I think the fan base would be slightly more excited for Nick Saban because he's Nick Saban, but the hype behind Summerall is still there. Now he's not really proven, or he's a winning coach and he's done great things at Tulane. He's not proven like Saban, you know, greatest college football coach of all time. But like 2 years just not enough, I don't think, to turn it around. So like, give me the half a decade and hope Summerall's all hype or worth all the hype.
Give me Saban as long as his wife's on board, because his wife told him when he got to Alabama how bad that was. She said, "Put your big boy pants on and get going." So as long as his wife's on board, give me
Miss
Saban
Terry
for whatever. Yes, for whatever.
I do
for
think,
2 years,
yeah.
though, like, would he? So granted, yeah, if you have a chance to get Saban, take him no matter what, right? Because he's Nick Saban, right? He could instill a culture in 2 years that could hopefully carry over from whatever else. But again, is 2 years enough to flip around UK? Because it's UK football, like it's not Alabama. We don't have the money. We don't have the same stuff. We don't have the same hype. So like, but again, it's Saban, right? Like, who would turn down Saban no matter what?
No, actually, you know, I think you guys are right. If that were a possibility, you would take Saban. It's similar to UNC and Belichick. Like, North Carolina probably knows that Belichick's not there for a long time. If the NFL comes calling again, it's the right job. He's gonna take it. I think. But if you have Bill Belichick there as part of your program for a couple of years, you take it because he's the greatest coach of all time in the NFL. So like it's a lot of hype behind a program. You're gonna generate a lot of revenue, a lot of fan hype, and maybe you strike gold and he does something in a 1 or 2 year time frame. So yeah, you're probably right there.
Hold on,
with that.
I will say this, just we'll clarify it. Take out Michigan State because it took him, it was always about 4 years. But if you look at Saban, LSU was in a really bad spot when Saban came in. He goes 8-4 his first year, 10-3 his second year. All right, I'll take that at UK. Then when he goes to Alabama, who was really in a bad spot, you got to look at it. How about 2-6 in year one, and then 12-2 in year two, and then those guys that he brought in year one, they go 14-0 and win a national title in year three. So, I mean, I think Saban can turn. I mean, I think Saban can turn around like the Cowboys in a year if they let him run the whole thing. So give me Saban, and I love Summerall. The problem is
can he do it? Can he do it in today's college basketball though? Because I mean, I think the writing was on the wall. College football. He left because things were changing, right?
Yeah, he didn't want to. The older coaches don't want to deal with this. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so can he do it now, where it's not just like recruiting? It's it's fundraising. It's all the other things that come along with it, especially at Kentucky. Let me say so. Like he was leaving Alabama as Nate Oates is coming up, right? Kentucky basketball is always going to be a thing. But does he want to come? Can he come? Would he come to Kentucky and all of a sudden be like, I'm Nick Saban. I'm kind of taking a back seat to Mark Pope though, because it's Kentucky basketball. That's how things work. Could he do that?
Well, I think with the changes at NIL, right? So the revenue sharing, I think that makes it more like when he was before he quit, right? Before NIL became a thing. That makes it a more even playing field for him to actually go recruit. Talk about on last episode, right? It's now bringing in the recruiting aspect of it more so than we'll throw all this money at you to come play with us for 2 years, right? So I think that's a different thing. I do believe that he could, just because it's Nick Saban, and every coach of that nature, that stature, they have an ego to them, right? It's a pride thing. So like I think he would take it as a challenge and a pride thing. But to Braden's point, after his 2 years, we could probably still get Summerall and then have best of both worlds, right?
That's
like,
what you would hope. Yeah, that's what you would hope. I will say, if he was going to take the job, that means Saban had something to prove. Saban is happy at ESPN, and I never thought he'd be great on TV, but he's tremendous. So I mean, he's not going to go back. I would be totally shocked if he ever went back into coaching. But I think if Saban, in this hypothetical, if Saban was going to take the Kentucky job, there was something he was trying to prove, and so I wouldn't worry about him being able to handle NIL. He just didn't want to deal with it, and that's why he left Alabama. That's why a lot of coaches have gotten out at different. You're seeing so many coaches now taking assistant jobs in the NFL. Where they don't have to deal with recruiting your own team year round and everything that comes with coaching in college now. And I think that's why it's also becoming a young man's game in college on both the basketball and the football side.
All right. So I was going to get into basketball, but we're damn near an hour into it, and I think we need to do the schedule thing. We need to hold my feet to the fire and actually pick some games. I think there's a lot of hype around basketball, a lot of good clips coming out. The team looks great. But let me try my luck one more time with this share screen, and we'll go through and pick.
Yeah, since you're all in now, Rando.
Yes, you're all in. So you should be like 10-2, right? 9-3.
All right, here we go. Can we see that right now? We can see that?
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so start off. Coach, you're the guest. I'll let you go first. Selena, and then me. I'll close it out. Toledo, who you got?
Man, I want to pick Toledo. I'm going to go UK here. All right. But I will tell you, if you look at my betting odds right now, where my money is right now, it's all over Toledo. But I'm going to go UK. I'm going to go. This is we do a thing for we preview every high school team. We do a ceiling and a floor. So in the best of worlds, this is their best record. If they hit their best they can play, and the floor. So in a floor year, Toledo's a loss. In a ceiling year, it's a win. And I'll give you at the end of the thing, I'll give you my overall record. But I'm going to go UK win in the overall record.
Okay. Selena, who you got?
I have UK, but I think it'll be interesting.
I got Kentucky's winning that game. I'm not letting Coach get in my head. No psych. He's not. No psychological warfare today. We're winning that game. All right, moving on to Ole Miss at home.
I'm going to go Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss was in the playoffs last year. If they beat Kentucky, Lane Kiffin's going to be upset about that. I just think I'm going to go Ole Miss here.
Do we know who their quarterback is? I don't know who replaced Jackson Dart, to be honest.
I don't know either, but name me a quarterback that's played for Lane Kiffin in college that hadn't put up big numbers.
That's okay.
That's valid. That's valid.
Selena, who you got?
I have Ole Miss because Kiffin was pissed all last season that he lost to UK. Like, it was a thorn in his side the entire season, and he will not let that go.
Yeah, and let's be fair, we shouldn't have won that game. I think we lose to Ole Miss, so we all take L's on that one. Eastern Michigan.
Oh, that's a win.
Win.
Okay. All right, now we got bye week, and now South Carolina on the road.
This shows you where the difference of the programs where they were 5 years ago when Kentucky had completely passed South Carolina. It's just the opposite now. I think South Carolina wins this game, and they win this game handily down there. I never thought Beamer was a great hire, but he's turned out to be a great hire. I'm going to go South Carolina in a big win.
Is he a great hire, or does he just have Stoops figured out? Because he seems like he somehow beats Stoops every single time, but I don't know that he's has been a great coach for South Carolina.
You won 9 games last year. You were in the playoff talk. I think this is a guy that he is cringeworthy to the best of them. You know, him and and Dabo are about the 2 cringiest guys you've ever seen. Yeah. But the South Carolina players and the fans love it, and they eat it up. Yep. Like I said, I'm gonna go South Carolina.
We know the D line is going to be great. I think is Sellers really a Heisman candidate, right? I think that's the difference in the game there. Is Sellers Heisman worthy like people think he is, like in the Lagway category? I guess we'll see. I'm not fully bought in on Sellers. I think he's a great athlete. Don't know if he's a great quarterback. But Selena, who do you got there?
South Carolina. There for some reason Beamer whooped our butts I don't know what happened, but South Carolina at South Carolina.
Kentucky's winning that game. Book it. Kentucky's winning right now. We're beating. We are beating Beamer this year. Similar to how Ole Miss getting payback to us at home, we think we're getting that payback on the road. Gamecocks go down. Georgia on the road on my birthday. What do we think, Coach?
No, they're not beating Georgia. I mean, Mark Stoops will keep it close, so you get you'll win because of the point spread, and you'll get those moral victories he likes against Georgia. They're not going into Georgia and winning.
All right.
No, we're not beating Georgia. We're not beating Georgia.
Yeah. All right. We're even on that one. I bought in last year, said we were going to put a dog down. I think was my quote that I put out on your radio show, Vic.
Yes.
We were close. But we did get it.
We're just going to we're going to go to Georgia this year and just dock the boats. We're not going to burn the boats. We're just going to dock them because we got to get back home whenever that one's over with.
Yeah. I tell you what, Krog, that was one of the most electrifying live sporting events I've ever been to, was when we were close in that game going into the fourth quarter. That place was absolutely lit. Absolutely lit. Great environment. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done. Stoops should have gone for it on fourth down, dude. Should have gone for it on fourth down. I think we changed the aspect there. Or Barryon just catch the damn ball. Barryon catches the ball there and we're good. Moving on, Texas at home after the bye week. What do we think, Coach?
Arch Manning secures his spot in the Heisman Trophy race with about 6 touchdown passes, and Texas just absolutely wipes the floor with Kentucky.
Coach, I love you, but I'll never invite you on this damn show again, man.
No, I agree with Coach, only because UK also has a history of being extremely sloppy after bye weeks. They're not great for bye weeks ever. I don't know what it is. They get worse after bye weeks. Huh?
Have we won? Has Stoops won a game after, or maybe one?
I think last year it was like 2-10. I think it was 2-10 last year was the stat.
After bye weeks, it gets worse. I don't know how that happens, but they do. Randy was so aggravated by that too.
I was so upset. Like, not only were we, it was just so, like, we talk about discipline at the beginning of the show. It was so undisciplined. It was just insane. It was
terrible.
I don't know if Arch is the real deal or not, but I do think Texas wins. I did not think Sarkisian was a great coach until last year. He finally kind of figured it out. I thought he was a great OC. He has proven, I think, to be a great head coach. And if Arch Manning is the cerebral quarterback and the truly mentally driven that all Peytons are with the athleticism, dude's going to be dangerous. I think we all take.
Maybe a Manning that couldn't play college football, like they all can. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, I agree. He hasn't done it yet, right?
No, he hasn't.
And he's kind of he's shown flashes, and then he hasn't. But if I'm a betting man, and I am, I'm putting my money on that the Mannings are going to figure it out, right? And he's going to have the talent. The dude's been a professional quarterback since he was like 6. To go into the Peyton or the Manning Academy forever and ever, amen. So I think he's going to be okay. All right, so we all put losses on that one. Tennessee at home.
I'm never picking Kentucky against Tennessee until we can win like 3 out of 4, like when you've won twice in the last 40 years. And I hate Tennessee with a passion. I hate the Tennessee fan base. I hate that ugly orange color. I hate Rocky Top. I've had to sing it on my Live at 5 show because I lost a bet that hurt me terribly. But I can never, ever pick Kentucky over Tennessee because it's not truly a rival unless both teams can win, and we haven't won enough.
I got nothing. I agree. I got nothing. Yeah, Tennessee's winning that game too. I got nothing.
I don't know if we can win 3 or 4 in a row, but I do know we're going to beat that ass this year. Let's go, Kentucky with a W. Yeah, buddy. All right. Auburn
shit, you're about all the way in, Rando.
Auburn on the road.
Oh, I think we beat Auburn because I think the coach that made, I do a thing on live. I do a thing for our radio show, and I put it out on Twitter every week in the college coaches hot seat. And the only guy out there that's hot seat maybe hotter than Stoops is Auburn's. Because Auburn has been bad. They're paying him a ton of money. They don't mind. I think they're still paying like 4 coaches that they had to fire. But I do think Kentucky goes down and beats Auburn for their one SEC win of the year. So I'm going to go Kentucky over Auburn.
Okay. Selena, what you got?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in the coaching staff at Auburn right now. So I would hope so. Now, I don't know if the whole one SEC, win is Auburn coach, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I think we beat Auburn. I hope we beat Auburn.
Plus, I hate Hugh Freeze. I mean, that he's not cringy. He's just dirty. I mean, he's that guy. He's creepy. He's not cringy. He's creepy.
I'm going to say we win that game. I'm going to say we win that game as well. I don't think Auburn is good, and I agree. I think if there's a coach that's worse than Stoops' performance last year, yeah, Auburn is. He's at least damn near close. All right, Florida at home.
Oh, give me Florida. I thought Billy Napier, he was number 1 on my hot seat all last year, especially when they started like 1-4, 1-5. But then the young quarterback made the turn and go to him.
Yep.
And I think he's the real deal. And I think Napier has a really good year and survives. One of the few coaches that set number 1 on the hot seat list that survived multiple years. So I'm going to go Florida.
I can't. Okay. I want to pick UK here.
Do it.
I am because it's at Kroger Field, and the fan base is rabid for this game, and that environment will be wild. And the last time we played Florida at Kroger Field, we caused them to have a whole lot of penalties because the fan base was insane. It was so loud they couldn't hear anything. And I'm banking on that again, and I'm picking UK.
I think you're right there, Selena, except for one thing. If they go with how I'm picking them and you're picking them, UK is going to come into this game like 2-6. Do you think the fan base is going to move on?
No, you're right. But I don't think fan base cares because they just want to beat Florida so bad, right? Like we broke like the 34-year streak, whatever it was, of beating them, and like fan base doesn't give a shit now. They're like, hell yeah, beat Florida. Like that's all. Like that's just a game by itself, like the Georgia game, right?
I agree. But this is
So
a
that's
game
why
that
I'm
usually
thinking
like the
that
first
way.
or
I'm
second game of
thinking
the
they're
year.
like, oh, we can win this game because it's at Kroger Field and it is Florida, and we really hate Florida. That's what
Oh.
I'm banking on.
100%. I agree with you. If it was normally where Florida came up here early in the schedule, it's because they don't want to come up here in November. But now that this game's being played November 8th, if UK's sitting there at 3-5 or 2-6, it's basketball season then, and you may get like 27,000 people show up at Kroger. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
No,
Yeah,
I still think they would show up. I really do. For the Florida game, I think so. I really think
we
so.
will see, and we don't have to worry about it because Kentucky's going to be on track closer to my win-loss record currently. So everybody's going to be at Kroger Field. Unfortunately, I'm thinking we lose against Florida. So I was hyping you up, Selena. I'm going to let you down here. I think we lose against Florida. I do think Lagway's the real deal. Watching him last year, I agree. My hot take last year was Florida State and Florida were going to have new coaches before the year's end. I was wrong, both of them. They kept. I don't know how Norvell kept his job. Maybe because they're similar.
They owe
to
him more money than Stoops.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. I was going to say that. That's probably what the answer is.
And Florida State's broke.
Yes, yeah, and the ACC can't figure out how to do a TV media contract like everybody else can. So yeah, I think we lose to Florida. I do think I'm going to be at that game. So I really hope Selena is correct because I would love
all UK balls at the Florida game.
Yes,
I'm going to make sure I'm at that game too. If Randall's coming in, I want to be at the Florida game also.
Hell yeah.
Book it. So it was a question mark. It's now an exclamation point. Book it. Let's do it.
Right,
we're going to make it happen. Yeah. So we'll go out there and figure that out. All right. Moving on. We have Tennessee Tech. Is that what that says there? Tennessee Tech?
We beat Tennessee Tech. My question is how many fans are there? Where are we at? I think that's the biggest question of this whole game. Where are we at in the season? That's a UK win. I have it as my, third or fourth win. If you're going into that game and you're 3-7 or 3-6, what's the fan like, aspect of it? But they beat Tennessee Tech.
Is that homecoming or senior day? Do we know that's the last home game? So I'd imagine so, right?
Do that in Florida, yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, it's definitely
so maybe
day.
Yeah, maybe that gets some folks there. All right, we all got to win. Vandy on the road.
Give me Pavia, baby. I love Clark Leah. I love what he's doing at Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt, they've won like 3 in a row over UK now, and so he owns Stoops. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt. Plus, he's a
Pavia is a splash in the pan. He was great last year. I don't think he's actually a great quarterback or a good quarterback. In my personal opinion, before I jump over, Selena, what do you think?
I think we beat Vandy.
Yeah,
and I say this because motivated Mark Stoops, okay, literally his ego cannot take being last in SEC again. That's what I'm saying. So we get that dub against Vandy.
I say we also
get a win. God, I hope so. Ugh.
All right. Traveling to Louisville, the Stoops-Morrow Cup. Who gets the win? Coach Evans, don't disappoint me here. There's only one right answer. I can't have you get it wrong. Who gets a W?
Oh, you're right. There is one right answer. Louisville wins.
No! Damn it, Coach. Shoot. All right. Selena, what do you have my back here? Who wins this game?
I can't.
Are you going to go with your heart or are you going to go with your mind, Selena? That's what we want to know. Is it the heart or the mind?
So it's like fandom or logic? Shit. I don't think we beat Louisville. I really don't. I don't. And it really, really hurts me to say that. It really does. But I think Louisville they got it figured out, and they're figuring it out every day. They are ahead of UK. And I don't think we beat them. And that literally, I can feel my heart cracking as I say this. Just letting you guys know. Like, it makes me very sad to say that, but I don't think we beat Louisville.
All right. I don't know the number. I think it's significant, the number of years it's been since we've lost in Louisville, right? Isn't that a stat that's out there? Like, we haven't lost in Louisville in quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
All the way back to
Yeah, it's like I saw somewhere you're talking like it's 6, 7, 8 years the last time we lost in Louisville.
And we had no business winning 2 years ago. The Baron Brown kick return. Hell, even you talk about Brad White's prevent defense, try to lose that game. Unfortunately, we get a pick. We go to Louisville and we win that game. Again, you talk about motivated Mark Stoops. Doesn't want to lose to Vandy. He certainly does. He talked about how Vince Morrow's his boy. He still respects him. Blah blah blah. He wants to smack him right in the mouth on his way out. It's the Battle of Ohio dudes, and at the end of the day, our boy, motivated Mark Stoops, is going to be leaving there with the bourbon and a cigarette in his mouth with an L's dime, and we're going to get it done. I believe it to be true.
In fact, it was 2014 was the last time Louisville beat Kentucky in Louisville.
Yeah, but they've smacked our asses at UK a whole bunch. So, I mean, like, it doesn't really matter though, because I was at the game one year when we got beat like 42-3 at UK. Like,
and this is a rivalry that if you look at it, there have been long runs, where Louisville would win 5 or 6 in a row, and then Kentucky, through 2018 to 2023 had the big long run. Like I said, so if you look at mine, I said I'm betting the under. I got them at 4 and 8. The one, can they get to 5? Maybe if you get Vanderbilt in there, if you pull an upset, could you get to 6? I'm still going to handle the under. I'm at 4 and 8. Now I will say my co-host Stephen A. Turner, he has said all year long they get to 6. That Stoops is at his best when everybody is against him and everybody is as the underdog. So we'll see who's right. I still say 4 and 8.
Well,
I have us winning 5. I think. I don't remember. To be fair, I didn't write it down, but I think so.
Well, tell your co-host Stephen Turner that I'm gonna get him by 2 because I got him 8 wins right now. And if you tell us right now we're gonna get 8 wins,
Rando, if they get 8 wins, I'll buy you a car.
Oh shit!
Hey, you'll have a camera on. We're shaking on that shit right now.
I'm joking. I got to take that back because I've been known to throw it out. I did one time at a high school football game here. I said that if a team upset another team, I would walk to do a tailgate at their parking lot of their stadium. Luckily, I didn't lose. But it was like a 40-mile walk. So, no, I'm going to take the car back. But they are not winning 8 games. I mean, I'm all for your UK fandom, and I know it's running through you, but come on. I mean, 8 games? You really think they go – if they win 8 games, they deserve to be in the playoffs.
Bob, I will smoke a cigarette for every win we get.
I will buy you like a bottle of bourbon for the heavy pour for if they win 8 games.
All right. That's a deal. I think 7-8 wins. I don't know. I picked Tennessee and Louisville just because I got to. Now, do we drop one of those? Maybe. I think 6 is definitely a possibility. I wouldn't be shocked 7 or 8. We'll see how it goes. I will caveat with all the things that I will start at the beginning of the show. If Wolford can't figure it out, if Bush Hamden is Bush Hamden of last year and he's just not the guy, then it doesn't matter how good Zach's potential is. He could be the next Cam Ward coming from Incarnate Word, top draft pick potential. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have the ability to create because the offensive line lets the defensive line in the what are we laughing at right now? But Coach Byron ran in a car, book it. Yeah, that's what he did say that first. He walked it back. That's right.
Will say this, and you talk about Bush Hamden, and I want to preference this, but go back and look. And I know he's the guy you put on the hot seat right off the top. Him and the O-line coach, which I agree with the O-line coach. Look at every offensive coordinator that Stoops has hired, and look at his numbers offensively pre-coaching with Mark Stoops and his numbers coaching with Mark Stoops. Now, if it was just 1 or 2, I would say, okay, hey, he moved up to the SEC and he couldn't handle it.
Yep.
But it's every offensive coordinator Stoops has hired. His numbers take a nosedive. At some
that's
point
true for Liam Cohen too.
Yeah.
Well, he had never
Which-
been an offensive coordinator. It was his first offensive coordinator job. He was the quarterback's coach at the Rams.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but you look at
Gotcha.
the overall numbers for like Eddie Grand, Shannon Dawson, and then look what they did when they went back to the offensive coordinator after they left UK, and the numbers were back pre-Mark Stoops. So I know Mark Stoops says that he never puts pressure on his offensive coordinator to tell him what to run. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I don't buy that every coordinator we bring in throws to the tight end and they have huge tight end numbers and their passing game. And all of a sudden we get with Mark Stoops and it's ultra conservative and it's, it's plain. What Stoops has built at UK and where UK was to where he is now, great. But what Stoops has not done that we talk about Nick Saban, what Saban did and what the great coaches in college football have done. Go back and look at the early national championships that Nick Saban won. They beat you, shutting you down. They had the whole game with LSU and all of that where they shut them out. Like they beat you and they ran it down your throat and you shut it down. The problem is college football rules and football in general, like the NFL, you can't win like the Ravens did with Ray Lewis on defense. The rules are all offensive rules now. And Mark Stoops never made the adjustment. Nick Saban said, hey, he saw when Gus Malzahn came into Auburn and how they were doing their offense and saying, I can't win games 21-14 anymore. You can't. And so he goes out and gets Lane Kiffin. He goes out and gets these coordinators. Stoops goes out and gets these coordinators and it hamstrings them. And we're still trying to be the Iowa of the SEC and win games with no offense and trying to win 17-14 games. It doesn't work in college football anymore. So I give a pass to Hamden.
No, you're right.
Yep.
And that's why I threw out the stat of 21. That's all I wanted, 21 points a game, because we we put up 21 points last year, and the record's completely flipped, right? And I think Bush Hamden was potentially a product of what he had at Boise State. Genty was world-class, one-of-one generational type running back. We'll see how he translates to the NFL. But, you could just give him the ball, and he was going to make some stuff happen. And he didn't really have to be a great offensive coordinator. It was like, hey, give Genty – what's the play? Give that dude in the backfield who stands straight up and down, give him the ball, let him run with it. He'll figure it out. That was his play calling. And I don't know. I'm just not fully bought in on Bush. I do think, though, to go – slightly against your point, Coach, there's been so much turnover with these OCs that it's kind of tough. Maybe Stoops is, just so strict in what he wants on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't let the OC kind of, develop or have full reins of the offense. Maybe he is that dictator type coach when it comes to that. But he hasn't had these coaches haven't been there multiple years back to back. Cohen leaves or comes in, does great, leaves, comes back. If Bush he's been there for 2 years, so let's see if he can get some buy-in from Stoops. So maybe it's a compromise between what we're both saying. It's like, hey, we have some continuity at the offensive coordinator position for a couple years, and that gives Stoops a little bit to be like, hey, I'm going to give you some more leash to call the way you want to, and I'm going to step away and focus more on the defense and work with Brad White so that we can put 21, 24 points up a game and then still be competitive in the SEC. We'll see how it goes. But I'm as you feel about Stoops and how he handles OCs, I just don't necessarily feel great about Bush Hamden and what he can do as a play caller, because last year just seemed so inept.
Well, I will give him one is he came in late too, and so he, it wasn't all his guys. We'll see, but I was looking at, you look at the offensive coordinators under Stoops, Neil Brown, Eddie Grand, even you had Rick Scangarello and Liam Cohen. Scangarello was a quarterback whisperer in the NFL. He came in with high regards. Now, I didn't like his play calling in the college level. And Hamden, if you go look at all of their track records, where they were at, these guys were highly thought of throughout the entire country and in NFL circles as being offensive gurus. And then for some reason, they all forgot how to coach when they got to UK. And I just don't buy the fact that now Neil Brown was a little hamstring because the talent level at UK was not very good when he was there early. and this goes back to the same thing, like, and you were talking about because they're very long, and I've been saying this on my show on for the NFL and for college, NFL and college, owners, and then the athletic directors. The worst thing you can do now in football is hire a defensive guy to be your head coach because it's an offensive game.
Yeah.
So if you go out and you find a really good head coach or a really good offensive coordinator, and he's good, you only get him for about 2 years because somebody's going to hire him. As either a head coach or a bigger school is going to come in and take him. And then so I think you're always I would much rather hire an offensive coach, and then that way your offense stays consistent. And then you bring in a guy every year to be, you bring in whenever you have to run your defense. And if you lose him, I think it's a little bit easier to go get a defensive guy because you're still scoring points. So that's the problem I have too. Is I think it's backwards at UK right now.
No,
I think you're right, Coach. Yeah. But hey, so we're hitting. I mean, we haven't hit an hour and a half show in a long time, but that got was some good conversation to end it. We hit the wins-loss record. We'll see who's close. I do think maybe I'm a little bit dramatic. I also will say I'm hoping you're all a little bit conservative, and maybe we'll meet in the middle. And your boy Steven is correct there, and we hit that 6, maybe 7 wins. But hey, it's football season. Let's get excited. Let's put last year behind us. Like Coach is saying, we got new faces. They weren't here last year for the most part. And we do have some guys who can be big, like Jamore Macklin, who I'm massive on. I think he is a phenomenal talent, who have a bad taste in their mouth but didn't get the opportunity last year. So let's go do the thing and get some wins. Vic, I really much appreciate you coming on. Selena, as always, the rock of the show. If I can close with one thing, though, Vic, we've never met in person. Mm-hmm. But I tell you what, man, like what you have done for us, Selena and I, and for this show, anytime I have a question for you as I'm trying to navigate this space, you answer it for me. The phone calls that you answer and the questions you answer, it's truly like I've known you for 20 years, man, like a really good friend of mine. And I do very, very much appreciate what you've done for us. And I look forward to this relationship growing throughout the next couple of years. Well, let's just not put an end date on it, man. But I really do very much appreciate what you've done for us. So shout out to you and your team. Thank you again.
Hey, anytime. I love what you guys do, and anything we can do to help you, I'm all for that. I love what you do, and thank you for the service of your country. I thought it was great is you called me one day and been like, hey, a guy walks in from Owensboro, Kentucky, and he knew who you were. He called his football games, and we were talking about that. It's a small world sometimes. But I love what you and Selena are doing with what you're doing with this space, and anything we can do to help, please do. And then for the people that listen out there, when you're bored from 5 to 6 o'clock Central Time, you can catch Steve and I on 102.7 The Game. The live links are out there every day, and then we're going live stream. We got a new studio being built to put Live at 5 on daily live stream on the 102.7 The Game YouTube page. So I'm looking forward to that. But hey, anything I can do to help you guys, and Selena's always a home run when she comes on Live at 5. We get more and more say we don't have her on enough, so she's going to have to become a regular guest. I know that.
Well, just let me know. Let me know.
And I'm going to bring Rando in whenever this football season's over and be like, hey, you're the guy like Matt Jones that said we were going to go 8-4, 9-3, and we're 3-9. There you go.
I cannot believe you just put my name and that man's name together. I cannot believe you just did that to me.
The last time you ever been on the show all of a sudden, right?
I just take back all those nice things I said.
Also, November Florida game. We're all
I will be at the Florida game. Plan it.
Yep. Let's knock that out. I'll text you. I'll get the itinerary. My brother and sister-in-law and their kids are massive Florida fans, so it's going to be a family affair. And I hope that I'm wrong and I can talk junk about them and Gator chomp in their face. But you see it on the screen there. We do have an ambassadorship with State Line Co. They hook us up with a lot of great stuff. You purchase their stuff. They're dropping some polos next or tomorrow. Use all UK Ball 10 for 10% at checkout, and we will see you next week. As always, go Cats.